There's always that split second when someone calls you out, questions your intent, or takes a jab at your character. In that moment, most people do what they've been conditioned to do since childhood. They defend themselves. "That's not what I meant. You misunderstood me. I swear I'm not like that." On the surface, it sounds fair. It sounds noble. But in the arena of power, that single instinct is where most people lose. Machiavelli saw it long before today's world, but it's even more obvious now. The second you defend yourself, you've admitted weakness. You've shown that their judgment matters, that their words cut deep enough to force you into explanation. And in 2025, perception moves faster than truth. Weakness is blood in the water. Look around at modern life. Scroll through social media. How often do you see someone defending themselves in the comments? A celebrity dropping a long notes app apology, an influencer posting a video, explaining for 10 minutes why that's not what they really meant, a coworker sending long defensive emails justifying their actions. Do those explanations ever actually restore power? Rarely. Instead, they fuel the fire. They confirm the accusation because only the weak rush to explain. Defending yourself almost never convinces anyone. What it does is hand control over to the other side. When you justify yourself, you're playing on their field. You've accepted their framing. You've silently said, "You have the authority to question me." And once they have that, they own the narrative. Even if you're right, you look guilty. Strong players don't scramble. They let silence do the work. Most people defend themselves out of a desperate need to be understood. They think if they explain enough, repeat themselves enough, clarify enough, people will see the truth. But that isn't strategy. That's emotion. And power doesn't come from being understood. It comes from being untouchable. So when someone calls you arrogant, cold, selfish, manipulative, and you rush to reply, "No, you don't get it. You've already lost. You've proven you care, that you're reactive, that their words pierced you. You've surrendered the greatest weapon you had, mystery." Think about the people who truly hold power in modern culture. Not the loudest voices, not the ones begging for likes or rushing into comment wars. It's the ones who say little, who let silence and stillness do the talking. The CEOs who don't answer every criticism. The athletes who let their performance speak instead of getting into debates. The public figures who stare through accusations without a twitch. Their silence creates doubt in others. Their stillness feels heavier than any speech. Machiavelli's law hasn't changed. He who explains submits. He who remains silent forces the world to fill in the blanks. And when people fill in blanks, they almost always overestimate. That's the game. When you don't react, you flip the pressure back. Doubt creeps into your accuser's mind. They start questioning their own tone. They look for validation and find none. Meanwhile, their power shrinks and yours expands. All because you refuse to play the game on their terms. Imagine a workplace scenario. You're in a meeting. Someone undermines you saying, "I don't think that plan is realistic," or "He always comes up with these crazy ideas." What does the average person do? They lean forward, heart racing, rushing to explain, piling on justifications. And the room senses it. They smell the insecurity. But the strategist? He doesn't bite. He sits back, calm, maybe even smirks. He waits. And if he responds, it isn't with defense. It's a redirect. Interesting. What's your plan then? Suddenly, the attacker is under the spotlight. The silence of confidence has flipped the frame. Or take social media. Someone calls you fake, toxic, or manipulative in a comment. What do most people do? They panic. They type long explanations trying to prove their innocence. But that only feeds the fire. It's fuel for the drama. The Machiavellian move? You don't defend. You distort. You post. People always call you dangerous when they can't control you. Suddenly their insult is your crown. You didn't argue. You reframed. You turned their attack into proof of your strength. That's not damage control. That's narrative dominance. And in relationships, this is even more dangerous. Your partner says, "You don't care about me anymore." Most people panic. They launch into explanations, reassurances, and defenses. But that only validates the emotional frame. The strategist doesn't dismiss or argue. He lets the accusation hang, then calmly says, "That's not how I see it." Short, grounded, unshakable. Now they question their own delivery. Because in that moment, there's an even colder the emotional tempo. Don't just stay calm, and whoever owns the tempo, someone insults you publicly, don't reply. Don't defend. Don't even block them. Let your absence hang like a mirror. In today's digital age, this breaks people. They survive on reactions, likes, comments, engagement, even conflict. Deny them that, and they unravel. They post more, talk more, spiral harder. Each attempt makes them look weaker, more obsessed, more unhinged. And you remain still, untouched. You didn't destroy them. You let them destroy themselves. Here's where the game gets elite. Instead of denying accusations, make them into mirrors. Someone calls you arrogant. Strange how confidence unsettles people. Someone says you're manipulative. Only the easily influenced say that. Someone says you're fake. Funny how people always say that when they stop getting what they want. You don't defend. You don't deny. You don't explain. You turn their attack into proof of their own insecurity, and now they're the ones scrambling to explain themselves. That's power judo. You flip the blade. Society teaches you to defend your reputation, to clear your name. But Machiavelli saw the trap. The moment you chase innocence, you've admitted guilt. And in today's hyper-connected culture, the harder you try to look good, the more suspicious you look. Politicians, influencers, leaders, the ones who scramble to clear their name rarely recover. But the ones who stay calm, who move with composure, often emerge untouchable. Why? Because people don't follow clarity. They follow power. Being misunderstood isn't the risk. Being predictable is. The predictable man, who always clarifies, always defends, is easy to control. The misunderstood man, he's feared because no one knows where he stands or how he'll respond. And fear creates respect. You don't need a good reputation in modern society. You need a strong one. A good reputation is fragile, built on approval, soft, dependent. A strong reputation is solid, built on caution, respect, and fear. People may not always like you, but they'll think twice before moving against you. At the highest level, you don't just practice silence. You build aura, a presence so steady, so secure, that accusations collapse before they land. This isn't emotionless, it's deliberate. It's the art of being unbothered by design. Think about the rare people online or in public life who never explain themselves, who never rant, who never argue, and yet their respect only grows. Why? Because silence turns into myth. People project strength into the void. They assume you must be dangerous, confident, untouchable. Here's the paradox. The more you defend yourself, the more isolated you look. The less you say, the more others rush to defend you. They step in saying, "That was uncalled for." Why are you going after him?" He didn't even respond. Suddenly, the crowd has become your shield. That's the ultimate Machiavellian leverage. You let the world defend you while you remain above the noise. It doesn't happen overnight. You build it like a fortress, stone by stone, by choosing stillness over reaction, by ending provocations with sharp closers. Noted, okay, time will tell. Not explanations, endings. When no one can provoke you, they fear you. Not because you're chaotic, but because you're unreadable. Not because you're emotional, but because you're immune. The most dangerous person isn't the one who attacks first, it's the one who doesn't need to attack at all. That's when accusations stop, not because you silence them, but because everyone knows they can't win. Strength still reacts. Immunity doesn't even acknowledge the hit. That's the Machiavellian ideal in 2025. Don't win the argument, erase the argument. By refusing to defend, you rise above judgment. Never defending yourself doesn't mean never speaking. It means speaking only when it shifts power. Every word becomes a move, never a plea. And when you master that in modern life, at work, online, in relationships, in culture, you're no longer just surviving, you're untouchable. You don't come here for comfort. You come here because you want power, influence, control, to master yourself, and by mastering yourself, master the world. The weak chase approval, the strong chase wisdom, because wisdom creates power, and power creates everything else. If that's what you seek, then don't stop here. Subscribe and walk deeper into the path, because the journey to power never ends and neither does wisdom.